Hey, so welcome back to the channel. In this video, I wanted to explore just how evil Palpatine is. Good. Because he is, without question, well, not just like the most evil character in Star Wars, because yeah, that's obvious, but probably one of, if not the most evil, goated bad guy in movie history. He's insanely evil. And when I'm exploring this, I'm exploring what's in the movies and off the TV shows. I'm not a comic book guy, guys, so if there's stuff that is in the comics where Palpatine is way more evil, and I'm sure that there is, I don't know, because I've not read them. Again, I'm just not a comic book kind of guy. It's not just to talk about that, but what I wanted to do is explore the things that he actually did that made him so evil. From manipulation to having authoritarian power across the galaxy. Palpatine was just on another level. And when you look at the things that he did and actually dive deep into them, they are insane. And so in this video, that's what we're doing. We're going into just how evil Palpatine was. So we're going to start light and kind of get more evil as we go along. Or at least that's the plan for the video. But the first thing that I wanted to do is just look at how sort of clever he is as well, in terms of how he operates in this evil capacity. And the first thing that I wanted to explore was how he plays both sides. And what I mean by that is he plays the separatists and the Republic against each other. Now on the surface, what you've got is you've got the Republic, and Palpatine is the head of that, and then you've got the separatists, and Palpatine's also the head of that as well. And you've ultimately got the clone army and the droid army, and those two factions are fighting each other. And on the Republic, obviously you've got the Jedi, and then on the separatists, well, we don't really get into the detail in the films, but certainly we get to see sort of their, I guess, leadership. Now, what I really like about this is how Palpatine actually, again, plays both sides off each other. And my view on this is that Palpatine was always intending to see which side was going to start winning, which side was going to ultimately come out on top, and he would just take over that. So if the separatists had won and the droid armies would have won, then it would have just been the head of that. And if the clone army wins and the Republic wins, which is obviously what happens, then he takes over that as well. But he does it in a different guise to start with. And so the genius behind it is pretty terrifying, to be fair. You know, he's playing both sides. He's in an I cannot lose situation. I also like the fact that he's actually seeing which side is going to come out on top. Like, what is it better to have? Is it better have a clone army of humanoids who got their kind of needs for sort of resources, energy, food, things like that? Or is like the droid army going to come out on top, which have got, again, their sort of requirements? You've got to build them, you've got to get the materials to resource them, then you've got to power the droids, and it's almost like sort of which one will win. If I can just give a real sort of simplistic example here, it's almost like saying which should win, petrol or electric. Like, which one's better? You know, is it better to have a petrol car, or is it better to have an electric car? I won't go into which one I prefer. I'm a guy, but anyway, my point being is that he didn't care about the sides at all. He didn't care if the Republic won or if the Separatists won. That wasn't it for him. What it was about is which one is going to win out. Like, that's all he was interested in, and which ultimately resource is the best resource for him. Which army is going to give him the best army? And obviously, as we say, the clone army won, and so he orders, the Order 66, and that just allows him to ultimately take over, wipe out the Jedi, take over the Republic, and now he's got the clone army. It's at his disposal. The evil genius behind that is insane, and I absolutely love it.
You haven't done it yet.
Man, I'm trying to press the like button like you asked, but it's difficult. Are you going to go for it? Go ahead. Right, so Vader can do it, but you want to be as strong as Vader, you got to hit the like.
And then the next thing is the hiding in plain sight. I'm a big fan of that type of approach, like the hiding in plain sight, the person that you sort of least suspect. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if people didn't know that Palpatine in the sort of the Clone Wars and what have you wasn't, or again, Phantom Menace and the Attack of the Clones. I didn't know if people didn't know that Senator Palpatine wasn't actually Darth Sidious. I wasn't sure. I knew it was. Now, again, I don't think that makes me smart. I think it's pretty obvious because we're watching it from obviously from outside the film, so to speak. But it makes me wonder if some people did actually didn't know, and then it's like a kind of a big reveal. But I never thought it was. I always thought that he was just hiding in plain sight and that those people around him didn't know. And the thing about hiding in plain sight, which is so good but also so terrifying, is that you've got no idea that your enemy is your enemy. So think of it like this. Imagine you get to the end of a video game, and all along in that video game you've had a partner in that game who's been helping you along, you've been going along, you've been working side by side. Let's imagine it's like a zombie scenario, and then out of nowhere, at the last minute, before you get to sort of the final boss or what have you, you find out that your partner is the final boss. I'm looking at you, Wesker. Oh yeah. But the hiding in plain sight approach is just so damn cool. But it's also so damn evil as well, and to pull it off. And so, yeah, that just has to be something that the gravity behind it has to be realised. And that's why I'm talking about it. So let's just talk about the separatists for a second here. Now, it's Darth Sidious, or Palpatine, that sends the separatists to Mustafar. And he sends them to Mustafar for one reason, and one reason alone: to be slaughtered. Once he realised that the Republic was going to win in the Clone Wars, so the clones were going to beat the droids, that was it. And so he had to wipe out the separatists. And he sent them all there to their death. That's so insanely evil. This is a faction that he's been leading for the past sort of 2 films. And nope, I'm just going to send you off and you are getting wiped out. That's unholy evil, guys. And next up, just to talk about the Death Star. So we know what the Death Star is. It's a super weapon, and the idea behind the Death Star is almost kind of like a nuclear weapon. It's don't attack me, don't be subordinate to me. If you are, I can wipe you out, but on a planetary scale. And in a universe where you've got multiple hundreds of thousands of star systems and species that are inhabiting said star systems, to keep them subordinate, to keep them in check, you have a super weapon where if you do betray him, if you do betray the Emperor, he can just wipe your planet out. That is unmeasurable fear. Imagine just having that always dangling, that sword always dangling over you. But then on top of that, how evil it is to be the person that actually has this constructed and built, and it's Palpatine who does it. But don't forget, he stole the plans from Dooku and of the Geonosians as well. So he even had this and he stole it from them. And let's talk manipulation. The level of manipulation that Palpatine puts out is absolutely insane. I think without question Palpatine knew that Anakin was the chosen one and was the one to bring balance to the Force. But Palpatine knew that he was the part of the Force that needed balancing, because he was just so evil. He's there. He's insanely evil, and that balance is just out of whack. Palpatine needed to do something about that to ensure that that was never going to happen to him, or that he was even operating outside of the Force, if that makes sense. So even though that the Force created Anakin to bring balance to it, he was operating outside of it, and that's why he worked to manipulate Anakin. And the manipulation that goes on to Anakin is absolutely insane. You know, the dream sequences that Anakin has, the thought of losing Padme, everything about it was just so evil. And at the end, when Anakin chokes Padme, out of rage, you know, because of the love that he had for her and the thought that she betrayed him, he knows that he didn't kill her. He even says it when he's finally in the Vader suit. And yet she still died in childbirth. Why was that? And okay, this is just like a little mini theory, but I think it's Palpatine. I think it's Palpatine that kills her off. It's the final nail in the Anakin coffin, so that there's nothing left for him but to embrace Vader. There isn't one person that Palpatine doesn't betray. He betrays Darth Plagueis. Once Darth Plagueis had showed him what he needed to know, he kills him. And we know it's him that he's talking about here.
Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
He could actually save people from death.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What happened to him?
He became so powerful. The only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. It's ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Darth Maul. He betrays him. He uses him. He's purely, if I can liken it, he's purely like a sword to Palpatine. That's all he is. He completely and utterly betrays him. Dooku. Now, Dooku was a bit of an unusual character, and I don't think he fully sat in the Sith world, even though he was Darth Tyrannus. He didn't have the Sith eyes, and he never really embraced the Sith. He even talks about destroying the Sith.
But he was betrayed 10 years ago by the Dark Lord. You must join me, Obi-Wan. And together, we will destroy the Sith.
But the second Palpatine has the opportunity to kill him, he does. And the look on Dooku's face is one of complete shock. He can't believe that he's been betrayed in such an evil way, but it's also in a way that elevates his potential, or well, not his potential, but definitely his next apprentice. And finally, he betrays Vader. At the end of Return of the Jedi, he categorically says, "Take your father's place at my side."
Your hate has made you powerful. Now, fulfill your destiny and take your father's place at my side.
His intention was always to have Luke then kill Vader and take his place. So Vader, who's been with him all these years, he betrays him. And let's talk Order 66 for a moment. Order 66 is bloody brutal, guys. It's insanely brutal. He is wiping out pretty much anyone who's affiliated or associated with the Jedi. Now, I don't know that the Jedi are obviously Palpatine's enemies, but the planning and the cunning and everything else that went into that to ensure that when he wanted to press that button, he could press it, that is just so goddamn evil. Finally, his downfall. I actually love this line, because this line means so much more than I think even than what I realised until I really went into this video and thought about it. But it's Luke when he says, "Your overconfidence is your weakness."
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
Now, yeah, Palpatine hits him back with a snippy remark, but what Luke said there is 100% right. And the reason why it's so good is because I think that Palpatine thought that he'd broken Anakin so much that there were nothing left of Anakin. And that's the part where his overconfidence lied. And obviously he'd not fully broken Anakin, not fully. And that's why I love the final scene. I put it as one of my best scenes within Star Wars when Vader finally picks up Palpatine. And I do say that Anakin had to become Vader to fulfill the prophecy. What a great line from Luke. And it is ultimately Palpatine's downfall. He did become too confident, and as a consequence, it cost him big time. And you know, one project that I'd actually be really interested to see would be an origin story for Palpatine. I think that could be amazing. And given that obviously Palpatine will be a lot younger, it could be a younger actor who maybe has some similarities to Ian McDermott, but it doesn't even need to be. That would be an awesome origin story. Like I felt that the Acolyte was trying to be a bit of an origin story for creation of a being through the Force. An origin story for Palpatine would be amazing. Why is he this way? Why is he so evil? Did something happen to him to create him that way? How did he get introduced to Darth Plagueis? Again, I think this could be a real interesting origin story. And so to wrap this video up, guys, look, of course Palpatine is evil. The big bad, the most evil character. And it's not about being a bad guy. Like I've talked about, well, I say I want to talk about this, but I don't think Vader was evil. Palpatine's evil. There's a difference between being a bad guy and being an evil guy. And Palpatine is evil. Big difference in the two. But what a character. What an amazing character he actually is. And one of my favourite in movie history. I think he's absolutely incredible. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, drop me a comment on what you think was Palpatine's most evil deed. And I will see you in the next one.